All right, here we're going to be writing equations of lines that pass through 2 points. Again, we're going to be writing our equations in y equals mx plus b form, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So we need to figure out these two things. We need to figure the slope, then figure the y-intercept. So slope is our change in y over change in x. Our change in y is from from 3 to 1. We're going to imagine that we're going in this direction. So we went from 1 to 3, so it's 3 minus 1, end minus beginning, divided by -2 minus 0. So 3 minus 1 is 2, -2 minus 0 is -2, and this simplifies to simply -1. Now we got to find our y-intercept. That's m. Write our equation, y equals mx plus b. We know our slope, it's -1. Y equals negative, and I don't have to write the 1, it's just -x plus b. Now I can pick either one of these points. I'm going to pick the one that I think is easier to work with, the one that's got a 0 and a 1. So I pick x and y. Our y is 1 equals -0 plus b. Of course, -0 isn't really a thing, it's just 0. We end up with 1 equals b. And so our equation is y equals m, which is -1. And we just write mx, we don't have to write the 1 in there actually, plus b, which is 1. All right, take a look at the next one. Here, our slope is our change in y over our change in x. Our change in y, we're going to pretend like we're going this way, it doesn't really matter, just to be consistent, is from -2 to -5, or end minus beginning over 0 minus 1. Well, -5 minus -2 is -3. Use your calculator to double check that. Or you could just think, if I travel from -2 to -5, I actually went back 3 spaces. Or you could say that, well, from -5 I subtracted -2. It's like adding a +2. And so from -5 going up 2 spaces gives us -3. Several different ways to think about that. 0 minus 1 is -1. And -3 divided by -1, well, the two negatives cancel each other out. We're left with a positive, and 3 over 1 is just 3. So now we've got to find b. Y equals mx plus b. We know that our m is 3, so y equals 3x plus b. Pick either of these 2 points. Again, I'm going to pick the one that has the 0 in it, because that's easier. X and y. We know our y is we're going to replace y with -5 from here. And 3 times, replace x with 0 from here. Plus b. And -5 equals 3 times 0 is just 0. Equals b. So then we've got, let's see, y equals m. That's 3. X plus our -5. And of course, plus a -5 is really y equals 3x minus 5. Take a look at another one. Okay, first one, we have to find our slope, our change in y over our change in x. Our change in y, and we're going to imagine that we're going in this direction again, is from -2 to -5. I think we've actually already seen this one. But we'll say end minus beginning. So -5 minus -2, and for x, end x is 4, beginning x is 0, 4 minus 0, and let's see, then we have -5 minus -2 is -3, and 4 minus 0 is 4, so our slope is -3/4. Now we've got to find our b. So we set up our equation, y equals mx plus b. We know our m, it's -3/4 x plus b. And we can pick either one of these 2 points. Now, on each of these problems, for most time, if you have a 0 you pick the 0, because 0 is easy to deal with. But I'm going to pick the 4 this time to show you something, another thing to keep your eyes peeled for when you're doing these equations. Okay? So I'm going to pick this point here. So our y is -5. Our slope is -3/4. And our x is going to be 4 plus b. Now notice, when I multiply -3/4 times 4, well, the 4's are going to cancel each other out, and I just get -3. So if you can pick a point that has an x-coordinate that matches the denominator here, you're going to end up with a whole number, which is a lot easier to work with. Right? So sometimes you'll have a choice where, in this case, if we'd have picked 0, we would have ended up with a whole number as well. It just would have been 3/4 times 0 or 0. But here, -5 equals -3 plus b. If we had a fraction here, then it would be much more difficult to deal with because I would end up with a fraction number for b. It's going to be uglier. All right. Well, no, I take that back. You end up with the same b no matter what you do. It's just how you get there, what kind of work you have to do. If you can get a whole number right here, you're better off. So add 3 to both sides, and we get -2 equals b. And so our equation is y equals m, which is -3/4 x plus b, which is a -2, so I'll write it as -2. All right. Next up, find our slope first. We've got delta y over delta x. We're going to imagine that we're headed in this direction, so our y is 3 minus 1, our end y minus our beginning y, and our x is 0 minus -2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 0 minus -2 is like 0 plus +2, which is 2. So our slope turns out to be 1. Next we have set up our equation. We're going to find our b. Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute one of these two in. Again, I'm going to pick the one, if you ever have the option to, most of the time it's a good idea to pick the one that has a 0, especially if it's a 0 for the x-coordinate. So let's see. Y is 3 equals our m, which is 1. Plug in this x, which is 0, plus b. Well, 1 times 0 is a 0. You can see why it's handy to have that 0 for the x-coordinate, because then I just simply end up with 3 equals b. And so y equals, our slope is 1. We don't have to write the 1 in. So I just write the x, 1x, and then our b is 3, plus 3. And we're all set. All right, good luck with the rest of these.